Welcome on board, my wonderful viewers. I'm sure you are tempted to dance. Don't worry, this is not our dancing session yet. Let's learn something small. Then after that, we will get our dancing shoes ready. Then we will continue with the dance. But keep your own very close, your dancing shoe, as you are seeing it from the screen now. Today we'll be learning how we can record our screen session, just as you are seeing it, as I'm toggling my camera on, off, on, then off. It's very simple. I'm going to be explaining some basic things you will need and how to go about it. So before we go straight to the point, I'm going to be identifying some softwares that you need and what are the advantages you get and the disadvantages you get. So let's minimize some of these things first. Before we go into it, you will likely need, if you are the type that uses the Virtual DJ software, you might likely need this keyboard you are seeing here, this virtual keyboard. Look at it. You can see every stroke of the key is showing. So you see, so this is a virtual keyboard. So every stroke of the key, you see, every stroke of the key is showing. So let me give it a try. Look at, this is my keyboard, this is my camera, and showing my keyboard here. This is a virtual keyboard. Just watch, I'm going to be playing around with this song. You see, you can see it's showing the stroke of my key. I also have the magnifier, which is the inbuilt magnifier that comes with the system that I'm using to zoom. All you need to do is to go to your window key, that is your window button, this window button, then plus sign. When you press, you will notice it gives you the opportunity to zoom things, select anything you want. Then if you press the minus sign alongside with it, it brings it back. Then if you want to close it, you use zoom, then escalate. This one is also good for you. Maybe you want to focus on something. Don't worry, I'm going to be using as I'm using everything here now. Let's minimize the Virtual DJ software first and a host of other things, so that I will mention the softwares now. I have Camtasia here. Camtasia is a very good software for recording screen, but the key thing here is it's going to record it individually. The keyboard is going to record your camera separate, it's going to record the screen separate, and then the audio. Then it will not left for you to use it, that same Camtasia, to edit it the way you want it. Not like the case of live recording that I'm doing, that everything you are seeing is on the screen right now. So that is one of it. You also have OSB. Sorry, let me zoom it so that you see it very well. I'll be zooming them one after the other for you to see. So this is the Camtasia. This is it. There is also OSB here. This one too is also good. You can use it. This one will do the job for you too. Then the one I'm actually using is Bandicam. Look at it here. Let me open it for you. Before you install the Bandicam, when you get the software, first of all you need to get a camera that will do the job for you. If you have an inbuilt camera, good and fine. If you don't have, you will get a camera, a USB camera. Look at it, my own is connected. It's a C920 camera. This is the connection point, so it's facing the screen. Sometimes you use this place to show your face, maybe to the audience while you are doing the presentation. Then you also have another shortcut. The Camtasia software has a lot of shortcut keys where you put in your shortcut keys. But after connecting it, you select the area you want to record. Look at it here from what you are seeing. Here, look at it. So you select your area you want to record, you scroll down. Then if you, or any of the HDMI or any device you want. Then for the case of selecting the camera, you come to this point, this webcam. After connecting your camera, you select this point. It's going to bring you this feature where you do some necessary adjustment. You select the overlay, you select the second one, you leave this first one. If you pick this second one, you don't pick this middle one. If you pick this middle one, it's going to do it direct. It will not give you the opportunity to toggle in and toggle out. Even if it appears as if you are toggling on the screen, the final output will not be the way you expect it. So select this one just as you are seeing it on the screen here. This is where you select the camera. This is where you select the quality of the camera output. Then you come to advance here. On this point of advance, this is it. This is the dark sheet. It's telling you where the camera will show. That is why my own is by the left down. So this is up down. Sorry, this is left up. This is right up. This is left down. That is why my own is here. That is the one I selected. Then you can choose any of this one. Then if you want a full screen, good and fine. You also have the opportunity of getting some additional setting, maybe the size. Use this overlay size, the position, maybe you want to shift it left or right with this tool. You flip it with this. Then you also have provision for settings here, where you do adjustment for the brightness and a host of other feature, sharpness. Then here for the zoom in, look at it. So this is provision for this. You can see zoom, focus. Then this other one gives you control, brightness, saturation, and a host of other feature. Let's bring it back. Then you close it. When you are done doing all the necessary setting, you close it. At this point, we are done with this. The software also gives you the opportunity to select your sound output. At this point, this is your record. You select record, you select the default output. Then this point, you select microphone. At this point, we are using the USB input. The camera has its own input microphone, so that is why we are selecting this very one. So when you pick this one, it's going to give you a very good output. Then you make sure you increase the volume high. Avoid the situation where you are going to be listening to yourself. Don't worry, I will address it. Let me mention some things here. I will address the situation where you avoid listening to yourself while working with this software, because you are going to be having conflict of sound. Then you are going to be confused. So you come to this point. This is mouse. This is where you select the mouse overlay, some necessary feature, how you want it to show, just as you are seeing it. At this point, you want to add your logo, you add it through this point. This is where you adjust it. At this point, you do the input, but you have to check this very point first. Then for the text, like in my own case, if you want to add text, you click the text, you click add. Then in my own case, I'm using DJ Don Genius. Let's scroll down so that you see it. You can clearly see it at the bottom. I'm sure it's showing on the screen there for you. So this is it. Then I also have other options for you. So I talked about the issue of the microphone. Before I go into it, there is other features where you select the format. Look at it. In this case, I'm using MP4. Then this is the audio quality. Then you can select your shortcut keys. I'm using F12 and a host of other. This is it. So let's go to the issue of the microphone I talked about earlier. Before you use the microphone, to avoid listening to yourself, come to this point on your window where you're seeing this. You select this very one. You select the main sound of the system. Look at it here. This is the mixer. You select the mixer. You select the mixer. Since I'm using my earphone, most of the time avoid the situation where you are going to be listening to yourself at the same time, because you are going to be having conflict of sound between the sound that is coming from your system or your speakers and the microphone sound, the microphone input. So most of the time you avoid that situation. So how do you avoid it? You come to, just as I've showed you, look at it, from the selection I just made. Then you will now come down here. You come to sound. This is where you see your playback, you see your input device and your output device. At this point you are not selecting anyone here. You come to recording, you select recording. Then this is it. These are your input device. So since I'm using USB microphone, I will select USB microphone. Then I will right click. I will check for the properties. At this point, you come to listing. This is it. If you check this listing, you are going to be having conflict of listening sound, so you uncheck it. Then you leave everything as it is. At this point, you increase the microphone volume, make sure it is high so that it can capture sound very well. Then you click OK and apply. That is the major thing. Then if you are for the virtual DJ user, as I've started with the virtual DJ, you also come to the virtual DJ software machine. Let me show you here. This is it. You go to master. This is where your microphone setting is. You see at this point my microphone is on, but you have to make sure you turn down this one completely. If you don't turn it down, you are going to be having conflict of sound. Let me turn it up. You are going to see